admitted in text messages that they were exaggerating the risks in order to frighten us.
I'm Van, and we are all the LFR family. Much love to you and your families. Please make sure you hit this like button. So we about to check out something that may or may not trigger you, but you know what? I've been triggered all morning, so it's about time that you get triggered too. All right, let's go.
And other things that science had truly helped heal a world from a pandemic, probably called by science.
And let's face it, as a comedian, every time you're doing joke about Wuhan, which I do in my new special, link in the description if you want it, you're aware of the brilliance of the outbreak of chocolatey goodness in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Hey, bro, let me tell you something. Shout out to Russell Brand, bro. This man, he got on a pink sweater, and that Joe look fly on him. He don't look gay in it. He don't look soft in it. The Joe look fly. Check out, man. Russell Brand can do whatever he want out there in them streets, bro. I'm talking about when it comes to fashion and stuff. That's why they try to make fun of him on MSNBC, talking about how his boots looked and all this other stuff, man. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you look when you are secure with your manhood, man.
You're aware of the brilliance of the outbreak of chocolatey goodness in Hershey, Pennsylvania as probably the perfect pandemic joke. But the backlash is what's interesting in this instance.
And the backlash was swift, immediate, and quite loud. The part that I don't like about it is the absolutes and the dismissive, like, F you, I'm done with you. I will never forgive you. What was stunning to me, I think, was the anger.
Let's remember, the framing for Stuart's joke was, if science caused the pandemic, why would you trust science to resolve the pandemic? And that's a great joke, and I'm sure me and Jon Stewart would disagree with loads of things around the pandemic, as me and any other person would on a variety of subjects. And a significant point that we need to address is that they carried on with experiments of this nature, even knowing that it was possible that the pandemic had been caused by a lab leak. You won't believe this. And this reporting is from the mainstream media.
Hey guys, let me tell you something. YouTube, I don't want to get in no trouble. I didn't even know that they was talking about this. All right, I didn't know that they was gonna be using the C word or any of that. So listen, I don't want no smoke, YouTube or whatever platform this ends up on.
Way back in the midst of the pandemic, when there were new varieties and variants emerging every day, oh, the Delta one, the Omicron one, they were, instead of thinking, oh, this is a pain in the arse, when are we going to be able to go back to our normal lives such as they are, combining them to see what would happen. At what point is there going to be some humility? At what point will the hubris be punctured? At what point will proper safety measures and a consensual agenda for scientific experimentation, other than the pursuit of finance would be what I contest, be achieved? British scientists... Oh, lads, you've let us down. I was hoping it was going to be American or Chinese scientists. Damn. Carried out experiments that risked creating more dangerous variants during the pandemic, it has been claimed. In testing led by Imperial College London and supported by the UK Health Security Agency, cells were infected with Delta and Omicron at the same time to see which had a competitive advantage. So you think that scientists are like children. I know what. We'll put Omicron and Delta into one cell and see who wins. Fight, 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 fight. Anton van der Merwe.
Let me tell you something, man. These nerds are having the time of their lives. They're able to do all the experiments they can possibly do to try to get rid of you know what, all right? And I don't know if they're expanding it. I don't know if they're making it worse or any of that. But I do know that at the snap of a daggone finger, they could end it if it wasn't financially lucrative. Unfortunately, it is. From what I'm hearing, it's taking people up out of here. Isn't that what Bill Gates wanted? Isn't that what he actually said was going to happen? Mr. Richest man in the world? Yeah, I think he did. You want to get it down from 9 billion to 7.5? This is going to help it out. It makes sense. It's unfortunate, but we're just the little guys here. That's all we are. Some of y'all are like, nah, that's a conspiracy theory. I'm not buying into that. Nor should you. Nor should you. Just make sure you do one thing. Get right with God. That's all I want y'all to do. Make sure y'all get right with God.
A professor of molecular immunology at the University of Oxford said, bearing in mind he's a conspiracy theorist, that such experiments risked combining the two variants to produce something more lethal that could have infected scientists or leaked from the laboratory. Don't you worry when your own common sense and gut instincts turn out to be empirical science. Hey, wait a minute, shouldn't they not be doing that? Hey, what if it came from that lab, though, in Wuhan. All those things are just keep being true. Should we agitate Russia into a war? They got nuclear weapons. All this stuff's like true and correct. You're right. Don't forget, in the face of all the propaganda, that these people are maniacs.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Viruses like SARS-CoV-2 are well known to evolve by exchanging genetic material when two distinct viruses infect the same cell, he said. This makes it much more likely that these strains will recombine and create a more dangerous variant, which could infect those doing the experiments, who could then spread it into the community. Professor van der Merwe said using Delta and Omicron was particularly risky because they were from different lineages and had more differences than those variants closer to the original Wuhan strain. What kind of scientists are doing that? What kind of reckless, risk-taking, high rollers are conducting experiments that seem to be fueled primarily by risk and gambling? These are not the qualities I want in clinical scientists. I want them to be like, okay, well, we've got a problem here. This is the best way to pursue it. Not like, okay, Papa needs a new pair of spats. Let's get in there. Come on. I'm not feeling too good, actually. I'm gonna pop down to the wet market, get myself one of those Penn Halligan things. I could do with a bite of that right now. Sadly, these people are English. You've let us down. You let the Queen down. In fact, when did she die? Imperial College London defended the experiments which took place in London. Of course they fucking did.
Of course they did. Absolutely. Would they be against it? Absolutely not. That would stop their funding. They won't be able to do more experiments in London.
Arguing that they were needed to inform the pandemic response. It added they were carried out under high biosafety standards. Oh, thanks very much. Thanks for not just doing it in a skate park or a supermarket or in an old people's home. We did the very best we could. Why don't you mind your own business? A spokesman for the university said, this government-backed research used viruses no more pathogenic than those already circulating within the population and will provide crucial insights that support government decision-making on how to manage the pandemic. And we all know that government decision-making during the pandemic was absolutely perfect, whether that was the parties they continued to hold throughout the pandemic or the way that they admitted in text messages that they were exaggerating the risks in order to frighten us. It was conducted in a biosafe...
It was exaggerating the risk only to frighten us. I actually believe that. They was exaggerating the risk to frighten us. Isn't there something that they can benefit off from us being afraid, from us being scared, from us being frantic? We'll pretty much pay them to fix the issue. Whatever it is, just fix it. We will pay you for it. Any amount of money. Yes, I got to get this shot. I'll get it. I got to get another one. I'll get it. It costs money. It doesn't matter. I'll get it. They are trying their best to fix the economy, I'll tell you that much. But hey, some of us got to go in order for it to be fixed.
Level 3 laboratory. Why do you even need biosafety level 1 and 2? Always try your hardest for it to be safe. Okay, it's Friday, no school uniform. Let's just have fun with it. Biosafety level 1. Whee! Why don't we juggle all those viruses? Let a couple of these mice out. Well, out you go, guys. Only have level 3. Always try your best not to cause a pandemic. In line with strict government regulations. Government regulations at this point don't seem to have that much credibility, do they? I mean, it's likely this thing came from a lab leak. The government responded appallingly and were biased in directions that were ultimately unfavourable. They were dishonest and propagandist throughout it. So we've got science that is interested primarily in profit, a government that's interested in regulating, even if it's unethical and untruthful, and there are literal examples of that. That is not a combination for a loving republic. Since the start of the pandemic, there have been fears that COVID-19 leaked from a laboratory in Wuhan, where researchers were carrying out experiments on bat.
Leaked. How about delivered? Delivered. Wasn't leaked. It accidentally leaked. Where did it go? I'm looking for it. Leaked my ass.
Viruses by coincidence. Why are we still talking about this? Why are we still talking about Raccoon Dog and trying to blame a perfectly innocent, adorable new pet? Anyway, probably you don't often have viruses leak from labs. It's probably rare, unprecedented, or hardly happens at all. So we've probably all got nothing to worry about. In recent decades, oh yeah, recent ones, smallpox, swine flu, SARS, and anthrax, as well as foot and mouth disease, have escaped through laboratory leaks. That is a terrifying list. Smallpox, I'd hate to get that. Swine flu, SARS, well, we know where that led. Anthrax, I didn't even know that was a disease, it was a literal thing terrorists did.
Yeah, I thought that was just a chemical that was put together. But if they call it, maybe that's what they call it that because it is that. Somebody created it in a lab in order to get someone sick. Once someone catch anthrax, can somebody get anthrax and then pass it on to someone else? Wow, I got some Googling to do. I got to go do my Googles.
As well as foot and mouth disease, which I think of the diseases is the most disgusting one, because who wants a foot in their mouth? Pervert. This week, a report by King's College London warned that laboratories containing dangerous pathogens are increasing. Oh, great news! Well, we've all had a terrible time in the pandemic. Been rough for all of us, whether it's the deterioration in education standards, the threat to small businesses, the lack of trust in institutions, the increase in inequality. We've made some vital decisions on that basis as scientists. We are pleased to announce more dangerous pathogens in laboratories. And also, some of them we're doing on biosafety level 1. Just for a bit of fun, man. Woo! 3/4 of maximum security facilities are now located in urban areas, increasing the risk of a leak. And didn't I mention? We're doing it in cities and towns
Wow.
where people live. But, you know, if they're going to live in cities and towns, some of which already have markets that are not as dry as they should be, they're well accommodated with these kind of risks. I imagine if you're buying a house and the estate agent says, oh, there's a market over there. Oh, nice, that's convenient. Should also tell you there's a laboratory there doing high-risk experimentation with lethal, deadly pathogens, which is going to worry you more. Oh, no, not a market. I might get a bargain! Report authors said that many countries are conducting risky research. I mean, the name itself should be cause for caution.
Yeah, risky research. Risky research? That sounds like a daggone movie. Risky research. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to lie to you. It sounds like a movie that I'll watch. I will watch that movie. I would be thoroughly entertained from a movie called Risky Research. One of my favorite movies back in the day when I was a kid was Risky Business. I'm sure some of y'all seen that, and some of you might remember it from beginning to end, but I loved that movie. All right, Risky Business. So imagine, risky research? Hubba, hubba.
This research is risky. Well, should we not do it then? Oh, come on, man. Where's your sense of fun? It's not jackass that could lead to the accidental or deliberate release of a pandemic-capable pathogen. I don't think we had to even consider deliberate release. Okay, so due to our risky experiments that we conducted only at biosafety level 1, there has, I'm sorry to say, because we were in a busy urban area, there has been a lab leak. Oh, well, never mind. Can't be helped. Accidents do happen. Accidents? We did it on purpose. Dr. Philippa Lentzos, co-director of the Centre for Science and Security Studies at King's College London, said, there's been a global boom in pandemics? No. In construction of labs handling dangerous pathogens, but this has not been accompanied by sufficient biosafety and biosecurity oversight. That's good news. Boom! A great big explosion in experimental pathogens, but not accompanied by safety measures. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If we're going to do all of these experiments, should we at least accompany that with safety measures? What's the point? Come on, you're taking all the fun out of science. Professor van der Merwe, who must be exhausted, has argued previously that many scientists were reluctant to consider the possibility that a laboratory leak started the pandemic for fear of having to curtail their own risky viral experiments. Hey, but if it did come from that lab, what about my own risky experiments? What is this? Make-A-Wish Foundation? Their love of risky experimentation should not be the North Star of our decision-making. Well, first and foremost, we will not be doing anything to curtail the risky experiments of these adorable loving scientists. Now, put that to one side. How best to handle this pandemic so that as much money as possible and as many rules as possible could be... Sorry, I've lost my focus on the fun-loving scientists.
You know, I'm just now realizing, man. I'm realizing that Russell Brand is a nerd. Good for you, bro. You're a daggone nerd, man. This dude is smart. He has a great deal of information when it comes to these topics that he's communicating about, and you can tell he's done more than his share of research. And he likes to make sure that he has a fair and objective opinion of all of the topics. So you know what that means, right? He can't just receive his information from one source. He has to get it from every single source, just to make sure that he get that equilibrium that he needs when it comes to, that fair-istaticity.
For a minute. He discovered that in a separate experiment in Germany, scientists carried out similar tests as Imperial using the alpha and beta variants on hamsters, ferret, and humanized mice. Okay, es will to the hamster. Ferret. And now my favorite of all, the humanized mice. Would you mind not doing this? Shh, it might not be that bad. And it will certainly be profitable. Ow, my What hurts? Shut up! There is more opportunity for recombination in animal experiments and selection for more dangerous variants because they involve more cells infected for longer periods, added Professor van der Merwe. Handling animals is also riskier in terms of transmission to the experimenter than handling cells. Yeah, the obvious risk being that you can't be bitten by a cell, but you can by a humanized mouse. And now the kicker, he added, neither of these experiments are of any help in protecting us from SARS-CoV-2. The only possible justification for all this madcap foolishness could be that it's of some use. Okay, I mean, God, it's a silly question. I can't believe I'm even asking it. This is of some use, is it, in curing SARS-CoV-2? No, not really. We just like injecting humanized mice. Now get the fuck out of my lab, you squares.
Yeah, so why are they doing it then? What the hell? It's not going to help.
Oh, I'm getting a blood clot. If it was conclusively proven the SARS-CoV-2 pandemic was the result of a...
And what is a humanized mice? Thank you, Lag7878. What the hell is a humanized mice? Somebody let me know in the comments, man. Humanized mice? They got damn mouse. They got mice running around London. Joe Biden face, Joe Biden's head on them. This is nuts, man. What in the hell is a humanized mice, man? I swear to goodness. Thank Lag78. I was thinking that, but I did not catch it, bro. Thank you.
Laboratory leak. It would obviously strengthen the case for stricter global regulation of experiments on potentially dangerous pathogens. So that's just one more reason why the narrative is being so tightly controlled, why they're working so hard to say it was a raccoon dog, why they're working so hard to smear dissenting voices, why at the beginning, even when they were considering the lab leak theory themselves, because it's so bloody obvious, they prevented that from being widely shared and promoted the wet market idea. Doesn't it make you think there needs to be an overhaul in the entire way that science is conducted? Notably, not having science as a subset of corporate pharmaceutical interests, not having science as a tool to underwrite a new orthodoxy of regulating people, having science as a kind of...
You know what he is? I just realized what you are, Russell Brand. You are a writer, bro.
Neutral and magnificent principle to drive our kind forward. Yes, but in that version, do I get to inject the humanized mouse? No! It seems to me that we should regulate, prevent, massively shut down this type of experimentation unless it directly leads to advances and benefits for ordinary people, not just for profit and whatever other crazy motivations are in there that I can't even work out. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think.
No. Yeah, that was perfect. What's the point of doing all of this? You're doing all of it. What's the point of doing any of it? You shouldn't be doing any of it. Y'all should be spending all of your time working on something that's going to fix this issue right here. If you're going to do all of this, you spend all this money, resources and whatnot, and you're still scaring the hell out of people while doing so, and none of this is going to aid toward SARS and listen, what's the point of doing it? This is dumb as hell. It's a waste of damn time. It's a waste of everything.